What's going on, guys? I'm Riley Kennedy, and my side partner Tino Livos isn't here today because he is sick. And this is our third episode of the CNS Sports Junkies. This week we'll be giving you your Week 8 results and your Week 9 predictions. Starting at the QB position, Russell Wilson for the Seattle Seahawks. He had a shootout against Deshaun Watson and the Texans on Sunday. He finished with 452 passing yards, 4 passing touchdowns, and 30 yards on the ground for a whopping total of 35.08 points. Have a day, Russell Wilson. And to the running back position, LeSean McCoy for the Buffalo Bills. He had 27 carries for 151 rushing yards and 1 touchdown. On the receiving side, he had 6 catches for 22 yards and had a total of 29.3 points. Over to the wide receiver position, DeAndre Hopkins for the Houston Texans. He had an outstanding week with 8 catches, 224 receiving yards, and a touchdown. He finished with 28.4 points against the Texans. For the Seahawks, my bad. Another fact I wanted to add is last year he finished with 119 total fantasy points in 16 games. This year, through 7 games, he already has 102 fantasy points. I think the change in QB this year for Hopkins has paid off for him and the team. Last year they had Brock Osweiler under center, and now this year they have Watson. And over to the tight end position, Jack Doyle for the Indianapolis Colts. He caught 12 of his 14 targets and ended up with 121 yards and 1 touchdown. He ended up with an outstanding 30.1 points. This has been the best performance out of a tight end for the whole season. And over to the Week 9 predictions. Starting at the sleeper category, Damian Williams for the Miami Dolphins. He is owned in just 0.3% of ESPN leagues. My reasoning, Jay Ajayi has just been traded to the Philadelphia Eagles for a 4th round pick. Damian has the starting job this week against the Raiders. The Raiders rank last in the league, just averaging 2.1 fantasy points on defense. And going over to the bust category, man, I like this guy and he's a really good player, but A.J. Green from the Cincinnati Bengals. He is averaging 16.7 points a game this season. He is coming off an 11-point outing against the Colts where he got just 3 catches for 27 yards, but he added a touchdown. He is going up against the high-flying Jaguars this week, who rank 1st in the league on defense. And to the stardom category, Paul Richardson from the Seattle Seahawks. He caught 6 catches last week and had 105 receiving yards and added 2 touchdowns to a monster performance of 28.5 points last week. He is owned in just 10.4% of ESPN leagues and is going up against the Redskins. Look out for Richardson. And to the sit-em category, Marshawn Lynch, beast mode of the Raiders. He's coming off his 1-game suspension and is playing against a Dolphins team who is trying to find their identity. I don't think guys who sit out a week do very good their next week. And Marshawn has been up and down all season and is averaging just 5.8 points per game. Don't start Marshawn Lynch. And to the best part of the show, the bold predictions. Alex Collins from the Baltimore Ravens. He is owned in 32.2% of leagues and is probably still available. And he's going up against the Titans defense, who ranks 24th in the league. Collins is averaging just 6.1 per game, but he had a really well week last week, scoring 16.3 fantasy points. I say this week he has over 100 rushing yards, over 30 receiving yards, and 1 or more touchdowns against the Titans. That concludes our Week 3 sports show for the CNS Sports Junkies. Stay tuned for more.